In Willowville, where every day was full of excitement and fun, Emily's house was always buzzing with creative ideas. Today, she had a big plan, a science experiment that would amaze her friends. With a big smile and her white lab coat on, Emily gathered her friends: Sam, who loved adventures; Lily, who was full of imagination; and Carlos, who was curious about everything. "Guess what, everyone?" Emily said, her eyes shining with excitement. "I've come up with the coolest science experiment. You're going to love it." Her friends looked at each other, excited to see what Emily had in store. She led them to her backyard, where she had set up a pretend science lab. There were test tubes, beakers, and all sorts of mysterious ingredients on the tables. Emily explained her plan. "We're going to make a potion that will turn regular things into something magical." Her friends put on their own pretend lab coats and joined in the experiment. Emily had picked out some special ingredients, and they carefully mixed colorful powders and liquids. Everything started to bubble and fizz, and a sprinkle of sparkly dust made it extra fun. But when they added the last ingredient, something surprising happened. The potion exploded into a burst of bubbles, filling the air with rainbow colors. Suddenly, the backyard transformed into a magical wonderland. The trees grew candy leaves, flowers turned into bouncy balls, and the little garden gnome started to dance around. It was a crazy science experiment gone wild. Emily and her friends laughed as they looked around in wonder at all the funny changes. Sam shouted, "This is the best experiment ever." Carlos, who loved science, said, "We should probably figure out how to change it back." Lily, twirling around happily, said, "It's like we're in a magical world." Emily knew they had to fix things, so they all worked together to make a new potion. After a few funny tries, they finally mixed up an antidote. When they sprayed the antidote around the backyard, everything started to return to normal. The candy leaves turned back into regular leaves, the bouncy balls became flowers again, and the dancing garden gnome went back to standing still. Tired but happy, Emily and her friends laughed as they looked around their backyard. They hadn't done a regular science experiment, but they'd learned something special. Science is all about trying new things, being curious, and learning from mistakes. Emily smiled and said, "Maybe we didn't turn everyday things into something magical, but we sure made today magical." As they left the backyard, they knew this was an adventure they'd never forget.